Hey everybody, Newleaf here, and today we're here for the 8,500 subscribers special. Seriously, ponies, thank you so much for sticking with this channel for the many years that it has been around. It has been an absolute crazy ride. Who would believe that there would be panels and whatnot where we get to show everyone about games and all the other crazy things we do on this channel? It is surreal to say the least. Now, before we get into this and answering all of your questions for 10,000 subscribers, we may be doing a face reveal. I say today, that's gonna happen to 10,000, alright? So, with that out the way, let's get into today's special. So, I asked you ponies to ask me just about any question you've ever wanted to know about me, and we have, well, a whole lot of questions to go through. I've tallied this up, it is over 70 questions, so we're gonna have to strap ourselves into this one and get ready for some very, very bing bong. So, we're gonna be doing this in 3 segments. We're gonna start on the YouTube comments, then move over to Twitter DMs, and then go into Discord DMs. We have about 70 questions, so we better get cracking on this. So, first question is from Lightning Pitch, and they actually asked 2 questions. We probably should have put a rule. Seriously, someone asked like 10 questions. Lightning Pitch asked, how did you get into the MLP fandom? Pretty easy. So, it all started when, my gosh, why are we doing the Wild Mains thing now? But it all started with, me watching Markiplier play this game, SCP Containment Breach, and it had a My Little Pony mod, and it was like, why are ponies so popular that they're showing up on my favorite YouTubers stuff? And then I, looked it up on YouTube. I then found Winter Wrap-Up, and we all know how catchy Winter Wrap-Up is, and that led to me watching an episode because I was bored, and here we are. 10 years later, I'd say slight fan. Worst and best Tell Your Tale episode. Ooh, this is big. I did determine the favorite Tell Your Tale episode recently, and that has to be the one with Izzy, the Blocky Walkies. But the least favorite one, I say we probably haven't thought about that too much. It's tough to find a least favorite in such a good show, but let me go into the think tank about this. I was initially gonna say Sparky's sick, but there's a bigger sinner out there, and it is the Lava Rint because of where it was placed. It was like an episode that was released like 5 episodes or so into the future. And not only that, but this is like a spot where the dragons are. I think this is the only time anyone's actually tried to kill the ponies, mind you. So I think that is worse than some of Sparky's mishaps in that certain other episode. Alright, next question from the next pony. Liam Chase asks, what's your favorite My Little Pony game? That's a difficult one. I say overall the best, and I'd say the most emotional game that we have played that was I'd say that was My Little Pony Havoc. That was made on my role-playing game Maker, though. But if you're going for the best standalone My Little Pony game, I would have to give this one to Ponyvania. Ponyvania is absolutely amazing. It is just the right level of challenging, of story, and also it allows you for a lot of replayability, and I think that's a pretty good game. Alright, we're going on to, I think, one pony who broke rules that I probably should have made before announcing this. They asked a total of 10 questions, so let's get into this one. King Technology asked, what generation are you? I had to look this one up. I'm Generation Y. Favorite My Little Pony convention is, that is PonyCon Holland, without question, because if ponies know a lot about my lore, I used to staff at a pony convention. That was PonyCon Holland's previous convention in the Netherlands, which was Heartswarming. Fortunately, that doesn't exist anymore. However, a lot of the people from that convention are now at the new Dutch convention, so they've still been able to retain the vibe. The people are absolutely welcoming and warm. And it's also always a good time to come to the Netherlands. They have so much great food, great things to see. It's a great time. Seriously, if I had to go and move to one country, it would probably be the Netherlands. Who is your waifu / favorite pony? Yeah, the people are gonna ask this a bunch. Who's your favorite pony? You see, you might think my favorite pony is Izzy, based on all the stuff that I have with Izzy, but you know what? I'm gonna say it's derpy. Don't ask it. Maybe it is easy. I don't know. It could be easy, could be derpy, could be just about anyone. The favorite song of Tell Your Tale. Ooh, that is a good one. I'm about to trigger people. I think the banana song is pretty fun. I like the banana song. But there's also some other ones that I like. The Sweetest Time of the Year is a really good one. I also like the Pip songs. Fresh is very amazing. Best Life is a great one. But I think the best in terms of like if you're driving somewhere and you want to listen to a long song, I think that one has to be at least from Tell Your Tale, that would have to be the main melody song. Which generation is your favorite? It's a difficult one to say. Because I didn't watch all of G4. I do like Generation 5 a lot. Unfortunately, we got cut short. However, if you want a bit of a hot tip, take a peek at some of the previous generations. There's a lot of interesting stuff here. Next question. What is your least favorite song? Least favorite song of Tell Your Tale. I don't think it's... I don't even think I have one, to be honest. Be fair, I like music. It's easy to get me to get caught onto any song, so I unfortunately don't have one. We're gonna just leave it at that. If a rabbit was inside of your backyard, what would you do? I would take a Pokeball and capture it, then train it, and then go to the nearest animal, to the nearest gym, and then fight for a Pokemon badge. How about that? Do you like butter? That's interesting. I think butter is overrated. Butter is overrated. All right, last question from this person. What if you could name your own country? What would it be? Just have it be Equestria, and then go like Equestria War style and start taking over the country and over the world. Who can stop you, eh? Alright, we're going on to the next question. Next we have someone called President. They asked a few questions, and the first one is, do you like trains? I'm not a big train person. I don't specifically nerd out over those things, but if there's a favorite train you're asking me, I did like the design of the Eurostars. Those were pretty, but like if you're asking me about performance or seats, there's some people who know everything about trains. I'm not one of those people. Your favorite airline? I think that falls into the same category. I don't know what. I haven't flown on Korean Airlines yet. I don't know but how that relates, but I don't have a favorite airline. Speaking of Korea, where would you like to go? Any MLP conventions you haven't been yet? What? I don't know how that relates to Korea. Is there like a convention there? But and the MLP convention I did want to visit is the one in Japan. Never been to Japan. It's like on the other side of the world. If I ever like have the time and things go well financially, I might do it. The thing is, you're gonna have to do a lot of sitting in the airplanes. I think that's like 10-15 hours plus just sitting in the airplane. But maybe that's a thing we do. Have you watched Thomas the Tank Engine? Oh, no. I think the only time I've like interacted with that show was like when I was small myself, and there was this preschooler who was like friends with me back then, and he was like 4 and he watched Thomas the Tank Engine. I think that's the only contact I've had with this show, so I guess technically speaking, yes. Your favorite general show? My favorite general show has to be Schlag den Raab, which is a show where you have like this host, and a contestant must challenge them and beat them, and if they do, they get like $1 million or something, which has always been one that I was up for the many hours that it was happening. It was pretty big event, and it did inspire the own game show that we have on our own channel. That one still is open for a couple of days, where you can apply and try to beat the best gamer alicorn that there is. I don't think people can beat me. Maybe they can prove me wrong. If a deer went inside your house, would you keep it as a pet? We're gonna do the same thing as with the other pony. I have a feeling that some of these definitely copied each other's questions. But yeah, we're gonna catch the, what was it, the rabbit, and now we got a rabbit, and now we have a deer. Catch that too, make it a Pokemon. We already got 2 Pokemon. We can already challenge someone then. Let's see. The next question. Which is your My Little Pony voice actor of your crush? I'm gonna say it's Anasane. I'm not gonna say which pony though. Could be anything really. um, what country do you like to visit? I think we already answered that. We already sort of technically answered that in terms of like pony conventions. But if you're just generally asking country, it would have to be Iceland. Iceland has some beautiful, beautiful landscapes. All right, next pony and next questions. We have Wrench Beakbird who asked a few. This one asks, "Have you watched Enchantimals?" I have no idea what that is, so no. Your favorite bird? Probably ravens. Those are smart. They also asked, "What is your favorite decade to be born?" And they kind of split it up into questions, but I'll just say just about anything in the future is awesome, so I think that's the best way to describe this. Oh, here we go. Here we have some banter. I think this pony knows I hate Posey. If you could go on a date with Posey, what would you do? Well, if there was cake on the table and it was a blind date and someone suddenly sat Posey to my table, my self-defense mechanism would activate and I would put the pie in her face and run for the hills, people. Oh no, because there's no way that's true. Because seriously, if that would ever happen, that'd have to be a dream. That's the only way I can describe it. Besides, Posey is familiar with food items landing in her face. She should be used to this by this point, right? Alright then, let's go further down the list. We have the next question. What's the worst food you've ever tasted? It has to be turkey stuffing. That stuff is super duper ultra gross. Super duper gross. Next question. Favorite food and restaurant. My favorite food, I'd say it has to be something Italian. Italy's cuisine. We've gotten to learn about the Medipona Fest. That's some absolutely amazing food down there. And I don't remember the name of the restaurant, but I think that was probably some of the best we've ever eaten. Here's a picture if I find it. Next pony and question. Then we have Migroni, who asked, "Do you use Linux or Windows?" I'm a Windows user, pretty much as long as I can remember. Then we have Marco Louise II asking, "Even though you don't know motorsports, I want to know what you think about the announcement of NASCAR racing in San Diego." I don't know if that's important. I mean, if it's like, I don't know if that's a good thing. That's the thing. I don't know if this is good. Like, if this is a good thing and you like watching them, then of course it's nice. But if this is like, hey, we're kind of tearing down the forest and pestering everyone, then of course it's not a good thing. It's something I don't have a lot of information of to make a profound judgment. Moving on to the questions of Discord DMs. So, we have Pixel Nomad who asks, which MLP game was the hardest? Yep, this is an easy one because we had this 10-hour session of me having to take down Cozy Glow, which spanned over 2 days. I think this is so far the hardest challenge. We might run into harder ones down the line, but so far this is the toughest without any question. Frosty Nebula asks, if you could add one pony to any game, who would it be and why? Izzy. For no apparent reason. Oh, this is a good one. This is a good question here. Snack Bite asks, what was the very first MLP game you have ever played? And this is Legends of Equestria. Legends of Equestria has been around for many years. It is I've met a lot of people that I know today in that game. And I think the first game that I then would play on the channel would have to be Fallout Equestria Remains, which was a pretty tough game, I say. Pretty hard game. Okay, here's an interesting one. Which pony do you like to play in multiplayer games with your friends? That's a pretty generic one, but I think anything with magic. Anything with magic is pretty fire. Then we have the next question. Turbo Sloth asked something that we did answer already. What inspired you to start your channel? This is the basically the same thing Lightning Pitch asked. Oh, here we have a good one. Velvet Cactus asks if you could design your own My Little Pony game, what would it be about? Make it be something with trolls. Make it be something with trolls. Something that makes you think outside the box. Make it be puzzly but trolly all the same. What's your okay? We have the next question. Need to do this in orderly. Zeta Drift asked, "What's your all-time favorite background pony?" Derpy Hooves, of course. That's an easy one. Everyone likes Derpy. Banana Syntax asks, "Have you ever cried a moment at an MLP game or episode?" We have had that happen. My Little Pony Havoc did it, but I also think a specific episode in no, that was Make Your Mark. Make Your Mark also had that. In season 4, episode 1, also managed to get that. It was super emotional. Next question. Midnight Taco asks, which game do you think best captures the spirit of My Little Pony? This is an interesting one. I'd say the best game that like captures the spirit of the show would probably be the official stuff. I would say Zephyr Heights Adventure probably does that pretty well. Next, a question. Please Lag asks, how long does it take you to make one Let's Play episode? Probably not that long. Usually we just play. We don't edit that much, but that allows me to like upload things all the time. It's spam ponies. You know, there's a saying in gaming, one of those proverbs where, you know, what you can't do in quality, you have to make up in quantity, so you just spam. Next question, we have the Fluffy Raptor. Which My Little Pony character would be the best gamer? Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. If which of the ponies in the show? I think it would have to be Luna, because Luna is like an alicorn that you can like cheat. So I'm just gonna say it's Luna. It has to be Luna. We have Coffee Yoda asks, your favorite fan-made MLP game of all time? I don't know. I may already have answered it. I'd say that is either My Little Pony Havoc if you're going for things that have been made with external tools, or if you're going for things that are just their own thing, would have to be Ponyvania. Have you ever rage quit a game? We have done this. Be honest. I like how they've been like, be honest. I've had that a few times. There's some games that have either been terribly made, or were just felt like, you know, the story makes no sense. Bloodline did get me there. Bloodline, as a recent example, did manage to get me there. We also have this game, which at some point just decided to break all together. And we also have one of, I think, Nurse Dashie's games. the first Nurse Dashie games. Those are also some pretty terrible ones. I'm glad I didn't finish any of that. Did you grow up watching MLP or discover it later? Definitely discovered it later. This is something. It is a relatively new thing. Which is your favorite My Little Pony villain? Ooh, that is a good one to ask, and I'm gonna say, jeez, I need to get back behind the damn screen. The favorite My Little Pony villain, I think that is just gonna be, I'd say, I'm trying to think, who was the closest to, like, actually defeating the ponies? I think that would have to be, I think that would have to go to Cozy. I think Cozy was pretty exciting. I'd say Opaline was also pretty amazing, though. Opaline also got pretty dang close with what she was trying to go for. So, I think we're gonna list Opaline. List Opaline. Be controversial. I already know this is gonna get people, and I'm telling them that Opaline was my favorite. That was by Flaming Turnip. I didn't mention the name. Next question: have you ever voice acted before? Surprisingly not. I've been considering trying it before, but I have about as much experience as a fish on land, which is no experience at all. Do you collect My Little Pony merch? Shows your collection. Here's some. Here's some right there. If you could live in one My Little Pony location, where would it be? Asked by Cursed Toaster. Oh yeah, do you collect My Little Pony merch was asked by Crypto Koala. We're getting a little sidetracked here. If there's a location I could live in, would probably just be Oh, the thing is, if I would pick Zephyr Heights, it would just fall off. You just died to fall damage. So I think Bridalwood has all the parties though. Like if you like holidays, you go to Bridalwood. I'm gonna pick Bridalwood. Do you play tabletop games? Yes, we do play tabletop games. This is by Rainbow Buggy. So next we have the ferret, and the ferret asks, what's your favorite friendship lesson of all the episodes? Ooh, very deep one. I like that. That's a pretty good question, but I think one of my favorites was the one with oh, that is an interesting one. I would almost have to oh, this is a good question. When a question is so good that you can't immediately answer it, you have to go through all the options. You know, it's a very thought out question. But I have to say it is Rarity Takes Manhattan. Rarity Takes Manhattan is also an extremely emotional episode. It is, like, if you want an episode that tears at you and that potentially makes you tear up, Rarity Takes Manhattan is a pretty intense one. Have your fans ever made art of your OC? Yes, they have. Take a look at this. This was made by some pony on, I think this was made on Facebook, actually. Surprisingly. I don't use Facebook much, but people apparently do use Facebook. Which pony do you relate to the most? Was asked by Moon Sock. Oh yeah, the question about the OCs was asked by Lettuce. Moon Sock asks which pony you relate to most. Probably Izzy or Misty. I think it has to be... Oh, this is difficult, because if I have to, you know, narrow it down to just one pony, it probably is Izzy. But if I'm allowed to mix it a little bit then you add like 30% Misty and 20% Twilight into it and 50% Izzy, and then you stir it, if that's allowed. Next up we have Snickety Comet. I don't know what Snickety is. What is your biggest fail moment in My Little Pony games? Ooh, yeah, there's been a few times I just absolutely got to but surprisingly I'm good at itching out wins. I think one of the bigger fails that I remember was me failing a one life challenge in Fallout Equestria Remains. That was pretty nasty. But outside of that, I usually keep my cool. I'm a good gamer, dare I say it. Don't if you remember, even recently when we played the Tomb Raider and we somehow survived certain death like 8 times, at that point you just feel like there's some invincibility going on, you know, like you just have some big secret superpower going on. Next, we have the Glitch Captain, who asks, what is the most underrated My Little Pony game you have played? Ooh, I like that. That's a good one, because we play so many games. What is a game not many people know about, but that is actually really amazing? Legends of Equestria. I'll have to say it. Legends of Equestria is a game that doesn't get talked about enough. It's a game that has evolved. That's the thing. Legends of Equestria back then was sort of broken, new, and a lot of things weren't working as intended, but the game now has become so much more better, so many more features, so many new ways to interact with other people. It is without question one of my favorites, and I think the most underrated. I need to get Fowlin to play that game at some point. That's the one game I want Fowlin to react to. Sir Loopalot asks, how many times have you watched the series for inspiration? Funny. That is very funny and jinxy, because I have watched a certain song like hundreds of times to start to rebuild this secret project I'm working on in Minecraft, so this one comes close to 100 plus. Oh, here we have one. Waffle asks, will you ever do a face reveal? Yep, at 10,000 we might be doing the face reveal, alright? I'm just putting my foot down. On 10,000 we're doing the... Alright, next we have the Queen Blender. Queen Blender? If ponies had gamer tags, what will Rainbow Dash's gamer tag be? I don't know. I think a gamer tag is like an Xbox thing. I think it would be RNG, just to be extra meme. RNG is one of the more interesting ones. Next, we have the Overlord, and the Overlord asks, "Can you play an MLP game blindfolded just for fun?" Excellent idea. We might do that for a little bit of a dare. I'm gonna definitely be writing this down, and when we do it, that will be your contribution as it is. Here we go with the next comment. We have the Binary Hobbit, and they ask, "Do you prefer playing solo or with multiplayer?" Honestly, difficult. Depends on the game. Both can be pretty fun. This is one that you can't really answer per se. Just like literally, it depends on the game. But being able to play with your friends is such a great thing. I say this much. Playing with your friends is like the best way to go. We have the Ice Cream Machine, and the Ice Cream Machine asks, "Do you script your Let's Plays, or do you just go with the flow?" I'm usually not a fan of scripts, though sometimes you have to do them. But I prefer to just wing it. That's always, I just prefer to wing it. Alright, ponies, we are gonna move on to Twitter DMs. A couple of them reached me there. And that will be the last 10 questions or so that I see here. We have Dragon, or it has like a bunch of random letters. Dragon something says, "What editing software do you use?" I used to use Filmora, but I do a little bit of Premiere. Yeah, thanks to Fallon. Fallon told me a thing or two about Premiere. Seriously, it's a nice thing getting to hang out with all these people and learning things, because I don't come from graphics people. I'm a gamer who's just recently discovered he has to make things pretty too, and it's a bit of a journey. What do your non-MLP friends think about the channel? They think it's random, but it's also sort of a thing where people start to sort of respect it a little for what it is. This was asked by Banjo. Then we have Cloud, who asks, "Do you have a favorite MLP minigame or party game?" That's a difficult one. Oh, I don't know. I don't even know if I know that one. I don't even know that one, people. Oh, that is so tough. I don't even know that many My Little Pony mini games or party games. What even fits this? What is a mini game? I'd say if you're looking for a favorite mini game as a whole, just go Mario Party. But if you're thinking about just MLP mini games that are, fun to play and spam, it's probably anything from the mobile game. It's probably the best one. Okay, here we have a very interesting and I think deep question. Alpaca asks, "What is the most wholesome fan interaction you have had?" And that is traced back to UK PonyCon last year, where not only did I meet a fan after my panel who told me they liked the content and everything, but they also would go on and then defeat everyone at Mario Kart like it was no one's business. They silenced the whole crowd, because here we go, this is going anime, but there was they made it all the way to the final, beating everyone, and in the final they were up against this popular musician, I believe, and everyone wanted them to win. But my fan was there as sort of the unknown pony, and he absolutely clowned on him and destroyed him, and I was all here for it. I screamed out at the top of my lungs. It was one of the best things ever. Ever, 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 ever. Okay, we only have 4 more questions. Phantom asks, "Have you ever cosplayed?" Not yet, but that is about to change. I've already ordered a certain wig and ears to go along with a certain cosplay that I'm planning to do. What is the cosplay? You're gonna have to wait for pictures. Oh boy. Next we have the real guy. The real guy asks, "If you had to battle Nightmare Moon in a game boss fight, who would win?" Or how would you win? How would you win, they ask. Well, you just put her into cannon and send her to the moon. That's what the meme says. That's what the meme says. Then here we have another video idea that I will also be writing down. This was asked by the Boombox Bug, and they said, "Can you rank all the My Little Pony games you've ever played in a tier video?" We may someday do that as well. And let's see. Then we go to the final question. That is asked by Cosmic Pickle, and they asked, "What is the milestone that means the most to you on your YouTube channel's YouTube journey?" And I think that would have to be the panel, because I like last year held my own panel and was absolutely nervous as someone who suffers a stage fright. But it was also something was like, okay, you're not as tiny anymore to the point where people don't know you anymore. So it was an amazing thing. But I think the best thing to go with it is the like friends you make. Like you get to be meeting all of the people. You get to meet Fowl and you get to meet all the other ones and just chat with them, learn about them. It's a good way to interact, and I think it's a pretty good thing. All right, ponies, with that, we have gotten through every single question. Very interesting one. We got a bunch of video ideas as well, and we're going to see where this goes. Anyway, for 10,000 face reveal, saying it right now, gonna be a thing. Anyway, with that, I thank all you lovely ponies so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. And remember, ponies, ask questions and you will gain knowledge.